Hello everyone, good evening. It's Connor 500 back again for the most important video of the month, the statistics video. One thing I will urge, as I always do, keep track of your own statistics. There's a number of reasons why you should do that. One, tipsters have got very good reason to try and inflate their own stats, whether they're doing it deliberately or whether they just don't realise. And another thing is you're not always going to be watching the video at the very start of the upload. Some people might, maybe you can always catch it, but most people you're going to check in whether on your lunch break when you've got time, you know, at the time most convenient for you. So keep track of your own stats. I am aware of this, and I'll be honest with you, I'm probably the only tipster that you're going to win by backing an hour or two after upload. So if you're a person that routinely watches videos 2 hours after the person's uploaded it, I'm the only one you're going to win by backing. And I know that sounds, but it's true, because the way you've got to think about it is, value doesn't just hold. Value doesn't hold. From the moment I put this video out, it's very hard to find things that will hold value all the way to the off, because we don't know what the price is going to be in 2 hours time. I've got no idea 2 hours before I upload a video what that price will be in 2 hours time when that next man is watching, and neither does anyone else. And no one can tell you, there's not a tipster in the world that can tell you that you will back their tips at a time convenient for you and that you're going to win, because the value just doesn't hold except on a very, very small proportion of bets. And that small proportion of bets are the ones I'm putting on this channel. The range of bets that I place myself, I probably can only put 10-15% on the channel, because I'm looking out for the man that's watching 2 hours later. So whatever time you watch the videos, whether it's mine, whether you've got a favourite tipster on Twitter or anything like that, keep track of your own stats. And I promise you, if you watch my video at a time convenient to you, you are going to win. I know the prices will be different, but there's a few things, just trust me. Right. There's a few ways that they do it, to be honest. One of them's market movers. I see this is probably the biggest thing that tipsters do. They just tip up market movers. They're looking for the blue lines across odds checker, then they'll throw it up. The price is already gone. One thing I see constantly, say someone's tipped 2 horses, right? They've tipped 2 horses, a 5-2 shot and a 5-1 shot. And that will be the advised prices. And then you'll check on odds checker. The 5-2 shot, it will be 5-2 at 365, 15-8 everywhere else. And then the 5-1 will be 5-1 with hills and 4-1 everywhere else. Now, I know a lot of people have got multiple bookies, but does the casual punter really want lots of balances spread across lots of bookmakers? No, they don't. That's unavoidable if you want to take it serious, but most people viewing this aren't wanting to take it serious, and for good reason. This game isn't for everyone, you know. It's really not. Okay. And the other thing, I'll tell you what, in tipster land, rule 4s don't seem to exist. I don't know where all these tipsters are betting, but none of them seem to calculate rule 4s. In my time of Twitter, over 8 years, or however long I've been on there, all the tipsters I've seen, barely any of them calculate rule 4s. They just ignore them. The long and short of what I'm trying to say here is always keep track of your own statistics, because tipsters have got bloody good reason to inflate their own statistics. Right, without any further ado, actually a couple of questions I was asked I was asked 2 questions the other day on the same day, and I didn't get around to doing it. The most I've ever won was one question, 19,600 on Slough High Street, Ladbrokes. In Slough, you've got a high street with one Ladbrokes. There's another Ladbrokes right at the end. But on the main Ladbrokes, you've got a Ladbrokes there next to a paddy, used to be a hills next to it, and it used to have 2 threads round the sides of it, with a hills slightly up the road, and then you've got Ladbrokes a bit further. That was where I won it, 19,600. I picked up another bet on the day. I think it was about 3 grand on the same day, but it weren't the same bet. And I could have won 203 grand now. I was gutted, to be honest with you. I was gutted, because what could have been. The other question was, why is cash out so bad? Why are cash out so bad? You've got to think about it like this. When you're placing a bet, the bookmaker can't take 30% off you. The bookmaker can't take a 30% margin when you place your bet, because the price would be like 7-2, where everywhere else is 5-1. They can't take such a big margin when you're placing the bet, but can they take such a big margin when you're cashing it out? can the bookmaker take 30% margin off a massive cash out? Of course they can, because you don't really, it's hard to really work out as a customer whether the correct cash out should be 1,000, should be 1,500. You've also got the emotions because it's now a big amount. You're getting emotional thinking I could do with the money. Bookmaker can have 30% off you all day long on the cash outs, and they routinely do. So that cash out, but long story short, the bookmakers can rip you right off much easier on a cash out than they can when you're placing a bet. Because when you're cashing out, you're not comparing to lots of other bookmakers. There's no comparison on it. Right, statistics. We'll do the second half of the month first. The second half, half two stake. The stakes for the second half of October was 11,200. Half two return was 11,900, which is a half two profit of 700, which is a half two return on investment of 6.25%, which is, it's okay. It's not, it's slightly, well, it's not, it is what it is. And we had an amazing first half of the month. Right, October stake. So the total stake for the whole of October was 21,500. The total profit for the whole of October was 12,490. And the return on investment for October was 58%. 58% is massive, and we are not going to get that every month. We're not going to get that every month. I'm here to tell you, whether it's a good month or a bad month, that we're here for the long run. We are here for the long run. It might have been an amazing month, but it's not always going to be like that. What I've found with most tipsters in my experience over the years is when it's a good month, they'll be talking, when it's a good week, they'll be saying, yeah, it's a great week, we've done the right... And when it's a bad week, they'll be saying it's the long run. You've got to look at the long run. So if it's a good week, they'll be cheering. And when it's a bad week, oh, it's back to the long run. No, it don't work like that. It's always the long run, or it's always the week. Don't chop and change it just because you've had a good week or bad. We've made 58% return on investment in October. It's not always going to be like that. There is no tipster in the land that's going to give you a return on investment of 58% in the long run. Not me, not anyone else, except if they're absolutely manipulating the stats to such an extent that you can never even get on. Right, we're going to go through some of this. So, okay, we just go through the dailies. We'll start off with the golf stake on, we've got, the golf stake on the 13th. Stake 1,000. I've got this as a return of 1,450. I'm using Sky. I believe Sky Bet was 7 each way on that. It was that David Lipsky dead heat. I'm only 90% sure that Sky was 7 each way there. So if anyone knows and they got on with Sky in that week, I apologise. I didn't write it on the slip at the time. So if they were 6 each way on that, please can someone tell me? Right, the 20th stake 500 return 0. And the 27th was stake 500 return 0. That's a golf. Right, horses. The 16th stake 500 profit of 670. So there's no, I'm not including, I'm just saying the stakes and the profit or loss here. It's not included. I'm not saying the returns. So the 16th stake 500 profit 670. 17th stake 500 loss 200. 18th stake 500 loss 380. 19th stake 1500 loss 550. 20th stake 500 loss 500, 21st stake 500 profit 1090, 22nd stake 500 profit of 820, 23rd stake 500 loss of 500, 24th stake 500 loss of 500, 25th stake 500 profit of 1130, 26th stake 700 loss of 390, 27th stake 500 loss 500, 28th stake 500, so I'm a bloody eye there, that's terrible, and I can't really do the video there, sorry, bloody hell. 28th stake 500 profit of 1420. The 29th was stake 500 loss of 420. The 30th was stake 500 loss of 470. And the 31st